start. Okay, so that was a good question that Rachel just asked. She asked that there wasn't any work on 5L15 that we did on Friday. Your work for that that's going to go in there is your multiplication table chart that you just filled out. And so those of you that are hearing this out there, you need to finish that and turn that into me. Then I'm going to check it, and then you'll tape it back into 5L15 later. All right, everyone got that? And I know not everyone got to finish theirs, but that's okay. I just wanted to see how far you could get, because you had 10 minutes today, and you had at least 5 minutes on Friday to work on it. So in about 15 minutes, if you're not at that point where you can list all of the facts from 1 times 1 all the way to 12 times 12, that's something you probably ought to be studying, because you need to know those like this. All right, today we are going to do lesson 5L16. Let me remind you, let me go back to this. That was 5L15. That tonight's homework is 5L15, pages 95 to 97, 2 through 30, the evens. So that's, as Rachel pointed out earlier, that's 15 problems. Review number 3 is due next Tuesday. I gave that out to you today. Review 2 was due today, and you guys already turned in all yours. And then we started off with the power up on page 98. The tapping needs to stop, guys. Stop that. All right, so we did power up on page 98, and we went over those answers. So then we talked about the 5L15, making the multiplication table, which was this, which you needed to fill out. And these are the notes that I gave to you that you can look over, and it's just reminding you about multiplication and those properties. Okay, the commutative property means that you can add numbers in any order. Did you get 5L15 notes? No. Okay, let me give those to you since you weren't here on Friday. 5L15. All right, so there you go, Grant. There you go. So 5L15, you should not be looking in there. Got it? Okay, so that the only one that should be on here is me. Got it? Did you turn this?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, so now, so this talks about the commutative property of multiplication, and it says that the order of the numbers doesn't matter. So 5 times 4 is the same thing as 4 times 5. And then we talked about the zero property of multiplication, said that any number times 0 will always equal 0. Very good. And then the identity property of multiplication is not the same as the identity property of addition, because in addition, if we add any number to 0, it keeps its identity. But in multiplication, we just found out that any number times 0, it always equals 0. So there is a number that we can multiply any number by, and it will equal itself, keeping its identity. What number is that, Lillian? 1. So the identity property multiplication is times 1. Let me see if this is, there's still that blind spot on there. It wasn't there a moment ago. I don't know why that's there. All right, still working out the bugs. Oh dear, what happened here? Whoa, 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 whoa. It just keeps going crazy on me. Okay, so now, back to this. Today we're going to do 5L16, which is word problems about separating, okay? So on the top of that next page, we're going to write down 5L16, all right? And we have 3 examples. So please write down 5L16. Write down word plot. Word plot lesson, okay? We're going to do this above each of the word plot lesson pages, okay? And so today is a word plot. We've already learned one word plot. What word plot have we already learned in here, Joshua?
Sum plus some more equals total.
Sum plus some more equals total. And the whole point of these word plots is to help make word problems easier for us, okay? And so we're going to take out the information from word problems, and we're going to see if they give us the total, plug that into the T for total, or if they give us the first amount is the sum, or the second amount, which is the some more. And so we're going to plug that in to make an equation. And remember, an equation has an equal sign in it, and when they're asking for an equation, they're wanting you to have a missing number in there, the unknown, okay? So we're going to plug in the numbers. We first write down the word plot. Up till this point, we've just done sum plus some more equals total, which is the combining one. Today we're going to learn one about separating, which which is very sad. Okay, so I want you to think about separating, because think about separating. When you separate, if you go to visit your family, and then you have to be separated from them. Like I have a friend right now who she hasn't seen her folks, and she's my age. Her parents are 75 years old, and she hasn't seen them since Christmas time. And you know, COVID, all that mess started around March, and she found out that they have COVID. And so they're, you know, when you don't want your grandparents to be getting in because they're in that higher risk category, right? And so praying for her family right now. And the COVID virus, we just pray for mild symptoms and that this will just go away quickly, okay? And so, but we're separated from people because of this COVID virus, whether it be families are separated. If one of their family members gets COVID, you have to be quarantined away from them so that you don't get sick. You have to be quarantined away from school if someone gets sick, these types of things. And so like my friend Kathy, she can't even go see her parents. Now they live 5 hours away, so she can't go see them anyway, but we're separated. So that's what I want you to think with this word plot is separating. It's a sad word, okay? So we're going to keep moving on here, okay? And because there's lots of sad things about being separated from people with COVID, lots of things, and I know that some of you with your hands up have experienced from this. So, and I'm guessing that's what you were going to share. But today we're going to learn a new word plot, and it's about separating, and it is very sad, okay? I've said what word several times now?
Sad.
Sad. There's a reason, okay? So what we're going to do is this. Problems about combining have an addition formula, okay? In this lesson, we will consider problems about separating. Problems about separating have a subtraction formula, okay? Here are two ways to write the formula for problems about separating. We've got sum went away, what is left? So they say sum went away equals what is left. Well, I'm going to have you write it a little bit differently. So, Trevin, would you please turn on the lights for a second? Let me turn that off. All right, so here's what I want you to write down. I want you to write down capital S minus capital A equals capital D. I've been saying this. Sad, okay? This is sad, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in words to help us remember this. This is an acronym to help us, okay? What is the answer to a subtraction problem called? Okay, it has a special name. Christian, do you know what it's called? No, like the answer to an addition problem is called the sum. Sadie, do you know what the answer to a subtraction problem is called? It is called the difference. So would you please write down difference and put a box around it. That's what this D stands for. Okay, so the first one is going to be the starting amount. Okay, starting, that's what the S stands for, starting amount. Sometimes we call it sum. You have sum, okay, but we're going to say starting amount minus, what do you think the A stands for? This is separating. What do you think the A in this word plot for separating is? You have a starting amount minus something equals the difference. What do you think it might be? Joshua? No, atoms is about adding. Hallie? Away, okay, so starting amounts, sum goes away, okay? Goes away. Okay, so write down goes away. All right, so we've got starting amount minus goes away equals difference. Sometimes when I do this, I'll tell students that it's sum went away equals difference. And in your book, they have an interesting way of doing it, but I really want you to connect this with this is separating. I want you to connect it with the word sad, because separating really is a sad idea, okay? In your book, though, they have another acronym that they use, and it's BAR, B-A-R. They say beginning amount, sum went away equals what remains. But this is the one I want you to be using, all right? Does that make sense? All right, everyone got that? Okay, Trevin, go ahead and turn off the lights, and I'm going to erase this. I hope everyone has that copy down now. All right, now let's see the next slide. So oops, you can't see. Unblank you. There we go. Word problems about separating. In word problems about separating, the missing number can be the top number, the bottom number, or the difference. Just like when we've been doing the other problems, the combining problems. It could be one of the addends that was missing, or it could be the total that was missing. All right, so they're going to give us some information here. So right here, they're going to say you have some went away, and then what was left is the 20. Okay, well, in order to find this answer, let me go ahead and write this down. Would you write down notes? And I want you to write down S minus A equals D. This is notes, right? S minus A equals D. And we don't know the starting amount, so we're going to say S minus, do we know what went away in this particular problem?
Yes.
Yes, what was it?
$13.
$13, so write down $13. Isn't it sad when money goes away?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, even if we buy something good. And then it says what was left was $20. Okay, so now this is what I want you to practice on your homework, okay? So we've identified the word plot, okay? Go ahead and put your hand down and pay attention. These are notes. So I want you to do is we are going to do 3 examples. So let's take a look at this. So the first thing, check, get your word problem. Second thing, plug in the numbers into the word plot. What do we need to do with this word plot before we move on? Hallie? We need to circle something. What do we need to circle?
Oh, we need to circle like the biggest number.
The biggest number. So do we know what the biggest number will be in this problem?
Not yet.
Huh?
Not yet.
We don't know it yet, so it's the S, right? All right. Because remember, the way that we know this, just let me remind you real quick, 1 plus 2 equals 3, 2 plus 1 equals 3, 3 minus 1 equals 2, 3 minus 2 equals 1. Remember, the products and the minuends are the ones that we circle in the addition and subtraction fact families because they're the easiest ones to see. That's always the biggest number. And so since S is the first number in the subtraction problem, that's the one we circle. And now that we know that that's what we need, that's great news, okay? We want to get the unknown alone, so we're going to put the S here. And so we know if the S is the unknown that we're looking for and it's circled, what are we going to do? Are we going to add or subtract to find the answer? Christian?
Subtract?
No, we're not going to subtract because the other subtraction problem begins with S.
Oh, we're going to add?
We're going to add. So we're going to say $13 plus $20 equals S. And they've already solved that for us right there. So it is $33. So remember, this is what I'm looking for, these 4 steps. The whole point of this is the process. That's what I'm looking for. Yes, the 33 final answer is important, but it's more important for me right now to get you to know this process as a pre-algebra skill. That's what we're doing here. What, Joshua?
Would this be EX1?
No, this is notes.
2. Oh,
This is not an example. This is notes. All right, so please write that down. All right, everyone got that? Everyone got that down? Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and erase this then. And let's start with one of the 3 examples. Some went away. They did that. Okay, so now write down example 1. EX1. We've got 3 examples here. Cullen had $28. After he spent $12, how much money did Cullen have? Okay, is this about combining or separating? Separating. It's sad. He's losing his money. Actually, he's spending his money, but he's making a choice, so it's not really seriously sad, but it is separating. Put your hand down and write this down. This is example 1. All right, so we have the starting amount, what went away, and then the difference. The easiest one to find is the starting amount in this case. Do we know the starting amount, how much Cullen started with? Chesley? Yes, how much did he start with?
$28.
Yes, he started with $28. All right, so now we need to figure out how much went away And then what was the difference? Do we know how much went away?
Yes.
Yes, we do, because he spent it. Okay, so how much did he spend, Seth? 12. Okay, so we're going to write down $12 equals D. Well, would you look at that? They were so nice to us, they already got the unknown alone for us. Okay, so now we just need to solve this. Now, what I would do is I would come over here and do my chicken scratch over here, 28 minus 12, and get my answer. 8 minus 2 is 6. 2 minus 1 is 1. So he had $16 left. Got it? So for this problem, were there 4 steps? No, because we didn't have to get the unknown alone because it presented itself that way. All right? But if it didn't give us the unknown alone, we would have to have rewritten it to get the unknown alone. All right. Got the hiccups. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, Christian?
No. I don't get the unknown alone.
They already had the unknown alone. The unknown alone means whatever is unknown, the letter that's missing is the unknown. And so we want to get the unknown to be on the other side of the equation. So let me show you the other members of this fact family. We could do 28 minus D equals $12. We could do $12 plus D equals $28. We could do D plus $12 equals $28. Only one of these has the unknown alone. Which one has the unknown alone? Yes. So see, and that's what they gave to us. And so that's what we want to do. We always want to get the unknown alone. If they had set it up like any of these, we would have had to have worked to get it to that fact family member.
Is it because it's at the end of the problem?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's automatically at the end. It's not always at the end, though. All right. Good job, guys. We've got 2 more examples to go. Let's see what the next one is. Oh, did they get the same answer? Yes, 16. Okay, so now example 2. After losing 234 pounds,
Whoa, that's a good day.
my God, that's a good day, okay? Okay, well, let's see. It says after losing 234 pounds. All right, that's a lot. Jumbo the elephant still weighed 4,368 pounds. Okay, how much did Jumbo weigh before he lost the weight? Okay, so if this big Jumbo the elephant had lost weight, in this case it might be because he was sick, probably not because he was on a diet and trying to lose weight. Okay, so we're gonna say this is sad that Jumbo was sick. Okay, do we know his starting amount? Because the starting amount is always the easiest thing to look for.
Yes.
Do we know the starting amount? Sally, what is his starting weight? 4,368, absolutely. Then we need to figure out how much went away, and do we know the difference? Do we know how much went away in this problem? Do we know how much went away? Grant, you haven't given me anything yet. How much went away?
234.
Yes, it was a good day. Well, actually, it's not a good day because he lost that weight, probably because he was sick. Equals D.
You might feel a little better though.
He might feel better, absolutely, like my dog, Boomy. I told you he gained the COVID weight, then so he's supposed to weigh 10 pounds, and he weighs 14 pounds right now. It is not healthy for him. He waddles now, so it would help him to lose some weight. All right, so now, do we need to get the unknown alone, Christian? No, why?
Because it's at the end of the problem.
It's already at the end of the problem, so we're good to go. So now we just need to solve. So again, I would not do this horizontally. I would come over here and rewrite this, do what I call chicken scratch over here, and I want to see your scratch work. Okay, so this is what I want to see when you're doing these problems on your homework. Solve this for me. Did you already solve this, girls?
Oh, it's wrong because it says how much did Jumbo weigh before he lost the weight. So the D would be 4,368
minus what went away equals difference. Let me read this more closely. After losing 234 pounds, Jumbo the elephant still weighed. You are absolutely right. We don't know his starting amount. He lost 234 pounds, and now he weighs 4,368 pounds. I'm so glad you noticed that. So sorry. Not thinking too clearly this morning, I guess. Okay. Do we have the unknown alone? No, we got to work to do that. So who should we circle? The minuend or the sum? Lillian.
There's no sum, so we need to circle the menu.
The minuend. The minuend is S. Okay, because it is the first number in a subtraction problem. And we want to get the unknown alone. We'll take a look at that. Okay, so S is either the minuend or it's the sum. So are we going to subtract or add to solve this? Rachel? Add. So we're going to say 4,368 plus 234. Now, did it matter which ones I put first? No, because of the commutative property, the order doesn't matter. We could have said 234 plus 4,368. All right, so now let's solve. And again, chicken scratch, where you show me your work over here. I do not want you to do these in your head because that's how we make silly errors, okay? All right, 8 plus 4 is? 12. Bring down the 2, carry the 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 3 is? 10. Bring down the 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is?
4.
Plus 2 is? 6. Bring down the 4. So, good old Jumbo used to weigh 4,602 pounds. All right, so for this problem, I did need to see all 4 steps, okay? Writing down the word plot, identifying that this was a separating problem, then plugging in the numbers for the letters that we could, okay? And so when we do that, there should be one missing. Then we get the unknown alone, and then we solve for it. All right, let's see. Did we get the right answer? You did get the right answer. Good job for catching that mistake. Accidents happen. All right, let's do, or mistakes happen. Let's see, number 3. Let's look at example number 3. EX3. 400 runners started the race, but some runners dropped out along the way. Oh, that's sad. If 287 runners finished the race, then how many runners dropped out of the race? So I'm going to tell you this is sad because they are separating. Some people dropped out, okay? Do we know the starting amount?
Yes.
Trevin, what's the starting amount of runners?
287?
No, 287 was not the starting amount. That's how many actually finished the race.
400.
400 started the race. They're asking us how many people dropped out. How many people dropped out? Do we know that? Sadie? No, so that is, we don't know how many went away. So that means that 287 is what we do know. All right, so we've got the word plot. We've set up the numbers from the word problem into our word plot. Now we need to get the unknown alone. All right, who should we circle in this problem? The minuend or the sum? Joshua? No, it's not an addition problem, so there's not a sum. So the minuend, who's the minuend, Joshua? It is 400, so we're going to circle that. All right, now we want to get the unknown alone. Who's the unknown? We circled 400. Is 400 the unknown, Addie?
No.
A is the unknown, so we're going to put A here. All right. How are we going to solve this? We going to add or are we going to subtract? If it were adding, the answer would be 400. So are we going to add? No, we're going to keep that 400 here, and we're going to subtract 287 from it. And that's going to give us our answer. And again, so come over here. Do your scratch work, 287. Okay, so we're writing down this process. Okay, now we're going to solve. 0 minus 7.
Can't work.
Can't do it. Can't borrow from 0 either, so we go next door to borrow from the 4. The 4 becomes a 3. The 0 becomes a 10. Borrow from the 10, it becomes a 9. Then that becomes a 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 8 is 1. 3 minus 1 is
1.
So the correct answer is 113. All right, does that make sense? On tonight's homework, I'm pretty sure you're going to have one combining problem and one separating problem. So you need to remember to use all 4 steps with this. Does that make sense, everybody? All right, let me give you the notes, and then we need to pack up. Yes,